Did you know there are some things skinny people do that fat people don't? And it could be a reason why they're skinny.
Do you ever wonder why people are so skinny and how they can eat so much or eat so frequently and stay so skinny? We have studied why. Because we used to be fat, so overweight, and we've lost 240 pounds combined. So we have really learned how people do it. So we're gonna tell you some things that have been researched. We noticed that 96.9% of you guys are not subscribed, and 3.2% are. So to the 3.2% that are, we love you.
For the 96.9% of you who are unsubscribed, we would love it if you would join us in this very, very meaningful conversation. That is our mission and our life's work.
Number one, sleeping. And what I mean by sleeping long isn't actually sleeping until 12 p.m. Although I do know a lot of skinny people that do that. It's actually the fact that they get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. That's why. Not necessarily that they're sleeping till 12 p.m. It's actually just that they're maybe going to bed early and waking up early, but they're getting 8 to 9 hours.
And I know that it seems really counterintuitive that sleep could actually help you lose weight, but your body is doing so much detoxifying when you're sleeping. Your liver is detoxing, your brain's detoxing, your cells are rejuvenating themselves, and without adequate sleep, if you're not sleeping like from 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 or even 11 to 7, you're really behind the ball. I mean, that's one thing you could take away from this video, just sleep more. The second thing that we notice skinny people do is they have less stress, or they handle stress differently. So oftentimes stress eating, we hear that from a lot of people. We do that ourselves, maybe not so much now, but we definitely have done it in the past. Stress eating is the thing. So if you have less stress or you handle stress differently, like maybe they'll go work out to handle their stress, or maybe they have great conversations.
And sometimes I notice that skinny people will, when they're frantic energy and stress energy, they walk around the room a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Or tap their foot. And that goes into the third point, which is having a high knee.
So did you know that when you're like tapping your knee, or you're walking around the room, or you're doing like hand movements like this, or you're actually burning calories? And people who are skinny tend to have these kind of micro movements throughout the day. They're not forced, they're innate. It means it's natural, they're just doing it. So that means that they do that a lot more than people who are overweight. That's fascinating.
People who are overweight move less and without intention. It's really important to notice that these people who are skinny and do this, they're not doing it because they're thinking, oh, I need to move more. They're doing it out of habit.
Yeah, it's like burning nervous energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exactly what I was saying, was like they don't stress eat because they move instead.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. And it also aligns with our program because we talk about moving emotion through physical fitness. So it aligns.
Number 4 is exercise. Skinny people exercise a lot and they have fun doing it, and they also don't do it really that much on purpose. It's part of their lifestyle. So you, for example, are someone that works out a ton and you do it because you enjoy it.
I love it.
But overweight people tend to not work out as much. Now, not saying all people, I'm saying most overweight people don't work out as often or as long or as intense. And they also don't find as much joy in it because they're not doing it frequently and
Well,
for
it's hard,
lots
yeah.
of reasons.
Yeah, they have the weight is really makes it super challenging.
We know, we were overweight.
Yeah, for sure. But confronting that edge is important. I think the reason why we exercise so much is because we don't like that feeling of like it being hard. So the more you exercise, the easier it gets. I mean, you climbed a mountain this morning.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Right? That would not have been the same thing she said last year at this time.
It wasn't the same thing I said last time. I couldn't even get way up half the hill.
Yeah.
So.
We used to fight a lot about this. One day you called home sick from school, and I'm like, you can like not go to school today, but you have to promise to take a walk. Do you remember how traumatizing that walk was?
Didn't I like sit at the bottom of the hill and cry my eyeballs out for like 2 hours?
I took you on a hike and you were so mad at me. I felt like I was a horrible mother.
I was really mad at you for that.
I was like, you can stay home from school, but you have to go on a hike with me. And it was a beautiful hike. It was a ridge trail. It wasn't really that hard. You're like, what do you mean this isn't that hard? You were so mad.
Yeah.
Was that a bad thing to do, or was it the right thing to do?
Right thing to do. W, Mom. Love you for that.
Number 5 is high fiber. Skinny people eat more fiber than overweight people. Overweight people might be more of a foodies. Like, have you ever met people who just eat to live instead of live to eat? Mm-hmm. I'm definitely a live to eat kind of gal. But skinny people aren't always living to eat. They're eating to live, and therefore they know they just need fiber, so they get it in, and they don't make a whole big to-do about it. Fiber is found in whole foods like fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and by eating fiber, up to 30 different varieties of fiber a week. That means the fiber from a strawberry is different than the fiber from a blueberry, which is different than the fiber from broccoli, right? So you need 30 different varieties. And guess what, folks? It helps to build a healthy gut microbiome, which is really going to solve a lot of issues, including chronic inflammation, which leads to prevention and disease, which also leads to a healthy, happy heart and brain.
Number 6 is water. Ugh, you must be so annoyed to hear that because maybe you think water tastes bland, and hey, I kind of agree. Sometimes water isn't that great, but guess what? Skinny people drink a lot of water. They just drink a lot of things in general, whether it's coffee, tea, water. They're drinking a lot of lower calorie items. So they're staying hydrated, which is helping them stay full and helping their body regulate.
Drinking enough water also helps to reduce inflammation. And drinking enough water is helpful because it helps you to really tune into your hunger cues so you know if you're really hungry or if you're actually thirsty. I would say most people are chronically dehydrated, especially if you're drinking coffee and alcohol. If you're drinking coffee and alcohol, it's pretty common that you're going to be dehydrated. You need a lot of water if you're drinking coffee and alcohol, a lot more than you think. Number 7 is high protein. People who've lost the weight and keep it off are definitely eating more protein than people who are obese and struggling with obesity and weight loss. When you eat enough protein, your hunger is decreased. Can you imagine the freedom you feel when you have less cravings? And when you meet your hunger with eating adequate protein for your body size and your body stage, meaning like what age you are, you're going to be way ahead of the game in your weight loss regulation and your weight loss longevity. So we love to include high quality protein sources like pumfu and fava beans and lentils and all kinds of high quality proteins that burn really clean.
Number 8 is eating less. Now, they just eat less frequently. It's not that they don't eat, actually, it's just that they eat less. I notice that overweight people like to snack all day, snack all night, and eat 3 meals, which is just a lot of calories if you think about it. And not that we're really counting calories here, but it's not great to be snacking all day because you're not really meeting your hunger where you need to be. And sometimes the snacks you're eating are processed, and I just noticed that skinny people, they usually eat 1 or 2 meals, and they're good.
I'm always amazed at sitting at a table with skinny people because sometimes they leave like half their food on the plate. And I'm like, well, didn't your mama teach you, like, you got to finish your food? You got to finish your plate? You know, like that's like wasteful. Like, what are you doing? You know, it just seems like a completely foreign idea for me. Although I do it sometimes just to practice, it's not something that comes naturally to me as a former or recovering, food addict or compulsive eater or whatever. I don't like to label myself, but we've been overweight. We understand the complexity of weight loss, and that is definitely something skinny people do. They do not eat all of their foods. They actually stop when they're full. What an idea. Something else that I observed as a point number 9 is that they eat really slowly. Skinny people eat a lot more slowly than overweight people. My mom used to talk about this. She would say to me, if you eat more slowly, your brain has time to tell you that it's full. And she's right. And I don't know why I'm always in such a rush to eat. I don't know what is wrong with that or what habit that is, but it's something I'm like eternally working on, is eating more slowly so that the hunger signals can show themselves to me. The good news and the bad news about point number 10 is that there is a thing called genetics and there is a thing called how you methylate, how you burn. I do believe some people have the skinny gene. I don't want to admit it, but I've seen it enough times in families to be like, gosh, these people eat a lot of food. We eat actually the same amount of food and they are super skinny. They can't put any weight on. So I do think there is a component that involves your genes, your hormones, how your DNA is methylating, and the rate at which your metabolism burns. We would love to hear from you what you've observed from yourself and or your skinny friends. Listen, we're not fat phobic. We might even be skinny phobic in this one. We're not phobic about anything really, except for falsehoods and lies.
That was cute. I like that. That was good.
I mean, seriously.
It's true.
I'm just amazed at skinny people. I'm like, they're a different breed of human. Like, wow.
I'm amazed that 97.3% of you aren't subscribed. Like, what are you doing? We give free information to the public about health, and we share our vulnerable weight loss stories with the world to see.
Yeah, we'd love it if you would subscribe. It would mean a lot to us.
And if you have to lose weight and you're a woman, you should definitely join our program. Link in description.
Don't forget to like and share.